Ah, Mario's Madness. What an incredible experience. Tons of songs, quality art, the music is amazing, each mechanic is, for the most part, fun, and just overall an incredibly solid package. Oh my god, and the fact that they were able to make it in 2 years with a ton of delays, and the fact that it's all worth it, is crazy! What?! Yeah, and? Oh no, 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 no. I was just buttering up the viewers. Hello everyone, my name is Kelpart, and happy April Fool's Day! And to those of you who aren't watching on that specific day, welcome to the official start of Ranked Series 2. I'm trying to transition away from the name Littlest. It's kinda stupid and I don't want to stick with it for too long. Y'all can still refer to me as Littlest, but I'm gonna try and transition to Kelpart, or just for short, KT. Anyways, versus Impostor V5. We're back. Yes, I know it's a bizarre choice for the first episode, but I mean, come on. It's April Fool's. I had to do this. I'd say consider this more of a bonus episode before the first real beginning. Like, you know, how I did April V3, but that was more of a pilot and not really Series 2. So this is technically the start, but not really what I want to be considered the first episode, you know? Okay, enough stalling. Let's talk about the mod we're covering today. Impostor V5. It's an April Fool's joke that the devs played on the whole community, being a remake of many songs from V4 with the visuals also taking a massive hit. And I somehow absolutely love it. How everything looks, how it all sounds, it's just so charming. Honestly, a little nostalgic too, which is bizarre since it's only been a year. Now, why this mod and why now of all times? Well, as it turns out, the devs decided that for the anniversary of V4, they would release a hotfix for V5 for some reason. This new hotfix gave us 3 new songs, which is mostly why I decided that this needed to be done now. Oh, and the whole April Fool's prank, so haha, y'all got trolled. But enough stalling. We've got 20 songs to get through today, so let's go ahead and get started with... Number 20, Lights Out. Expecting Actin' Sus? Well, too bad, this song is infinitely worse. Not by much. Well, technically not by much. See, this is a very clever song, I'll give it that. It takes the theme of Green having B-side-like versions of Red songs and shakes that up a bit, giving Actin' Sus a B-side variant. Now, that might sound like a good thing, but trust me, it isn't. I'll talk about visuals later, but for now, just know that this is the quality pretty much the whole mod is made off of. But the chart? Oh god, the chart. It's easily the worst thing from this mod. It doesn't line up with what's being sung, and even if it did sync, it would just not be fun to play. And overall, it's just bad. It's really bad. As for the song, it just feels so soulless. At the very least, Actin' Sus is a very old song that at least has the original thing going for it. This one just felt like they lazily copied an already bad song. Number 19, Fresh. A base game song you shouldn't have. No, really, you shouldn't have. This is literally just Fresh from Base FNF, except somehow even worse? It's a horrible sus remix, and I'm like 99% sure it's either a Silva Gunner or literally no one's song. It looks bad. Again, it's just stolen from the base game. Luckily for it, they stole a song that isn't that bad, so it gets barely above Lights Out. However, I have very little to say about this, so we're just gonna skip talking too much about it. Number 18, Actin' Sus. Well, here it is. The one that everyone agrees kinda sucks. Now, to its credit, it's almost 3 years old at this point, but that doesn't excuse it from being this bad. While Sussus Mugus V1 has a sort of charm going for it, this one just straight up does not sound good. It has the same problem as Lights Out, where the chart just does not line up sometimes, albeit much less egregious. And of course, I'll finally talk about the visuals here. Now, while the rest of the mod mimics this style, here we have the authentic V1 experience, same as Impostor V4, and yeah, it doesn't look the best. Again, it just lacks the charm the rest of the visuals have from this mod, probably because while those visuals were done by Logo, these are made by Claufo himself. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm too lazy to fact check that. As someone with next to no experience making original songs, I could probably make something better than this. Perish. Number 17, Oversight. I am going to start this entry off with a little fun fact. Did you know I actually really like Oversight from Impostor v4 now? Does that mean I like this one? Heck no! It still definitely has the same problems I saw almost a year ago. The concept of Yellow being a fake crewmate only showing his true colors in Oversight is a neat concept, just not really one that they could show very well because it's V5 and they can't really flesh it out all that well. But, you know, they tried, I guess. Visually, this isn't actually that bad. Yellow's mouth is a little interesting, to say the least, but overall this is one of the nicer looking weeks. Oh yeah, and the song still just kinda stops existing for a little while, so that's fun! I find it funny that while I really like the base Oversight, this one is still virtually the same opinion as it was over a year ago. But hey, good news! This is, like, the last one I genuinely hate, so I get to be a little more positive from here on out. Fun, I know. Number 16, Boiling Point. This had the potential to be one of the best songs from the whole mod. I'm not joking, it's literally just Boiling Point for the majority of the song. Maroon sings pretty much... What? Oh yeah! I forgot about that. So, a neat thing that this song does is make Maroon brown. Mostly just because at the time of V1, Maroon wasn't a color option in Among Us. It's a pretty nice attention to detail that you wouldn't really expect from something like Versus Impostor V5 of all mods, but I still really appreciate it. But back to the song, it's really, really good. Until, of course, it starts being an older version of Boiling Point. So, for those who don't know, there's an older version of Boiling Point where the end of the song was Maroon sinking into the lava as the song got slower and slower. Unfortunately, they copied that here, just without the good music and cool visuals, and overall, the concept is just kinda lost. This ending kills any good pacing that the song had going for it, overall ending the song off on a sour note. It wouldn't even be that bad if it didn't go on for so long. If the song were to end, say, 3 lines earlier, it'd still have the same type of ending, just be infinitely less painful, making everyone's lives better. What a disappointing song coming off of easily one of the best from V4. Number 15, Plague Energy. I take it back. This is the biggest disappointment. Identity Crisis is still easily my favorite Impostor song from V4, maybe of all time. And to be completely honest, the start of this one was genuinely promising. It's again based off of an older version of Identity Crisis, one which does actually sound pretty good. Monotone sprites aren't actually that bad, the background is the Skeld, which gets almost no representation in Impostor, so I appreciate it, and the icon is just the funniest thing I've ever seen. Look at this. I love him. However, it's once we get into the shape-shifting that the song starts to suck, mostly because it's just copy and paste, with part of Susas Mugus and Defeated being slapped in here. This takes up most of the song, which sucks because of how promising the start was. I guess V5's got a V5 somehow. Number 14, Finale. Hey, I kinda like this one now. Granted, not that much, but it's an improvement over last time. This is the last of the trio of songs that were based off of an older version, and to be honest, I kinda like how this one sounds. Now, not enough for it to truly ascend into anything above the bottom of B tier, but it's honestly not that bad. No, the problem comes from the difficulty. One miss and you're out. Unfortunately for me and most people, not only is Finale really difficult, but the chart also kinda sucks. Though any chance of most people beating it is slim, especially with the update to an engine where spamming isn't a viable option anymore. It's weird though, because when it's not spammy, the chart can actually be really fun. Besides that, I mean, the visuals look nice, I guess? Black easily has the best sprites from the mod, except for the 2 real boys, which, don't worry, we'll get to them in due time. But for the time being, in the V1 style, man is the animation and pose is good. Alright, moving on. Number 13, Susas Mugus. Back to where it all began. As I said last time, this one is by far one of the most important songs in the entire mod's history, maybe even to FNF of all time. But how does this V1 hold up? Honestly, not that bad. The melodies, while worse sounding, still hit strong, and the visuals aren't anything to write home about, but they do the job and pave the way for the rest of this mod's legacy. And the chart is fine. That's about as good as a V5 chart's gonna get, so I will definitely take it. I've talked about this song twice now, so I won't dwell on it too much here, but just a really solid song overall. But man, if only there was a song out there that paralleled this one, yet expanded upon it just a little more. Number 12, Susas Tugas. Yep, we're doing this again. Susas Tugas. Just like its red counterpart, this one still retains the same ideas as its newer version, just without polish, and some of the cool things are missing, like the saxophone solo. The constant string of doubles in this chart can get annoying sometimes, sure, but if you're a pro gamer like myself, that's no issue. Krill your shelf. I know that I've said that Week 3's probably looks objectively better, but I honestly really like green sprites here. With there being a lot more going on in the background, it's pretty nice. The concept of green not being an imposter also works really well, and with 2 songs plus Impostor Trouble, it at least gets a little more expanded upon, unlike Yellow's, which just kinda seems to happen for the sake of happening. Just overall, a nice song all around. Now, unfortunately, this is the last Susas song, but if only there was one more that existed that expanded upon... Number 11, Susas Threegus. Yeah, this one still wins. If you count this as Mando, then it's really ironic that the order these songs are in is the exact opposite they'd be in V4. Speaking of, this one is honestly on par, if just slightly worse than normal Mando. I know, that's crazy, but it's honestly not too bad. Barely missing out on any melodies. Sprites are still charming, the chart ain't half bad here, and yeah, this one's easily the best Susas of the mod. Just Yellow's sprite being animated in such a choppy yet charming way really stands out to me. And it's not even like they're that good, I just really enjoy the atmosphere around the older sprites this mod went for. Mostly in part thanks to Lago. You're awesome, man. Number 10, Lime Lemon. Okay, I'ma be honest. This one's definitely worse than the Threegus. I just instinctually put it with the other 2 Susases while writing the script, but I don't really want to have to change all that context because that'll take a lot of time, and I'm kind of on a time crunch here, so we're just gonna go with this one being better than Threegus. Alright? Okay? Cool? Cool. Alright, awesome. So, Lime Lemon. One of the 3 new songs we got from V5's Hotfix, being a demake of one of Jad's songs, which was an interesting surprise, but one that I like to see. Sprites honestly look... bad? Like, not the on-purpose bad the rest of the mod goes for, just kinda uncomfortable. I think it's because Lago didn't make them, and if he did, I really can't tell. But something about them just looks off to me. As for the song itself, it's a downgrade to an already song, so I'm not shocked this is as low as it is. It is easily the FNF song of all time. Even without the major reveal at the end, Serialized still destroys this song. Number 9, Impostor Trouble. Yo! Double Trouble representation, let's go! For any of you out there who does know me a little more personally, you might know that I adore every single version of Double Trouble out there, and this song is no exception. Green and Red tag team once again, except as touched upon earlier, Green is actually a crewmate this time. It's a nice little dynamic, and one that's never actually used an imposter, with the closest being Pink and Gray. Also, this is now where I must legally mention the scrapped Double Kill V5 version, which is also amazing, and I'm really upset it's not in the mod, but I couldn't really rank it because, you know, it's not in the mod. Now, by this point, you should know that these are literally just worse-sounding versions of the songs from V4, but this chart is really fun, which is odd since it's very overcharted, much like its normal counterpart. Usually I hate those kind of charts, but it actually kind of works here. Same art as usual, and at this point you should be getting the vibe of this whole mod. But luckily, that's all about to change. Number 8, Serialized. The only 100% original song from the Hotfix. A little backstory for y'all, this guy right here is actually a scrapped character that was going to be what Jad's was for base V5. It's nice to see him here, but again, something about his sprites just looks so... off to me. But that's fine, because the song itself is actually really enjoyable to listen to. There's a lot of imposter melodies used, the V5-ness of it all is toned down a bit, the chart is fun to play, and then there's easily the best part of the song, maybe of the whole mod. Boyfriend and this thing, I refuse to learn the name, thing repeatedly upwards, which can get a little annoying, but it's fine because it leads into the biggest fake out ever. The sprites are now nice, the lime fellow is given beautifully drawn sprites, and the drop is so good. I played this on launch day in a call with a few friends, and I gotta say, we all lost it when we saw that this happened. Heck, they even hit my weakness with a nice key change at the end. It's so dramatic for a song from V5, which is in part due to the fact that a fan creator for Impostor actually made this and Lime Lemon. They even ended the song off with a nice little picture to celebrate the anniversary of Impostor V4, which was really nice to see. Man, what a good song. If it weren't for the few sections before the massive shift in the song, this would honestly be above Lemon Lime for me. I was gonna do a segue, stupid! Thanks for ruining it. Anyways, speaking of... Number 7, Lemon Lime. Lemon Lime, how are you still 7th? It has been a full year. Why have you not changed spots? Alright, so we finally made it to the first Jad song, which is easily one of the most tame Impostor songs ever. It's a really nice transition from the bad on purpose stuff of V5 to the actually great Jad's art and music, but doesn't really do much else. Now, does that leave a lot more to add on to the song? No, that's not really what I want to talk about. It's your most slice-of-life song ever. What I want to talk about is the amazing service the hotfix did. It ported the whole mod to Psych Engine, which not only made playing the bad charts fun, but now the good charts are actually worth playing. It's such a small change, but when you think about it, it makes a massive difference to actually playing. Oh, also, Lemon Lime D-Lung Mix is an incredible masterpiece, but that mod seems to be coming out soon, and I'm like 99% sure I'm gonna give it a ranked mini of its own, so I'll save that remix for its own time. Number 6, Danger. Yeah, just like last time, I've run out of unique things to say at this point. Art-wise, yeah, it's the same quality as everything else in the mod. Chart-wise, yeah, sure, I enjoy this chart, which is a nice change, but that's really all you can say about a good chart. That it's good. But the chart and something else lead me to make one of the most bold claims I have ever made in an FNF ranking video. This Danger might honestly be as good as the one in V4. Now, obviously, the song sounds much lower quality, but that's to be expected. It's kind of like Golden Land V1 versus V2 for most people. I know that's a weird parallel, but stick with me here. Obviously, this version is worse, but many people still prefer the V1 of Golden Land to V2. The chart being better here makes it more fun to replay, and some of the changed melodies honestly sound better to me. Now, does it compare to Danger Remastered? Ha! No! But the fact that this V5 song is almost, if not just as good as a V4 counterpart is scary. But what if I told you there were 2 songs like that? Number 5, Defeated. Yep, who could have seen this coming? One of the only major things I can add to this that I didn't say last time is the shift to Psych Engine. It actually makes playing this one possible without spamming, which is a nice improvement for me. But besides that, art, specifically black, still looks great, the chart is decent, and the song is just an altered version of Defeat, with the flashback to V4 Black still being so good, man. A year later, and I still can't get over how they just casually do that, with it immediately returning to V5 style afterwards. It's honestly just as powerful of a moment as serialized shift at the end of the song. But with this one over, we've now officially finished all of the V5 type songs, only leaving Jads and one little anomaly left, which, speaking of... Number 4, Inflorescence Hotfix. Hey look, it's the one I used in the intro. And yes, I included this one separately. No, I won't waste much time on it. This is literally just Inflorescence with different vocals, a cover if you will, something that I could have made. The reason this is below base Inflorescence is purely just because I like Jad's chromatic a bit more than Squid, but this thing's Boyfriend sounds virtually the same, so it really just comes down to preference here. Number 3/number 2, Chlorophyll and Inflorescence. Hooray! They're still tied! I'd say that I explained it pretty well last time, but I didn't go too in-depth with why these two are tied, so I'll try and make up for it here. These two are polar opposites, and yet they somehow work so well together. Chlorophyll is very laid back, with it being a super chill song with nothing getting crazy and being an all-around vibe, while Inflorescence is the exact opposite. While it still retains the more laid-back nature of the Jazz Week, it's got a much more upbeat feel to it, with the charting being way more interesting to play. Speaking of, the chart! I know I already talked about this, but my lord is Psych Engine infinitely better than Cade in every way. I'm also pretty sure these two songs got recharted, which makes them even more fun to play. But back to the dynamic at hand, the way these two just click together in my head is so nice. A little fun fact for you all, did you know that Jazz probably has my favorite week in all of Impostor? That includes stuff like Henry, Week 3, Week 7, and the Jorsaucy's week. Seriously, who names their child Jorsaucy? That's only helped by number 1, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me finish talking about these two. I know I've hardly talked about them in this video, but the background for this week in particular is beautifully drawn. Again, I like it when the Skeld is represented in Impostor because for some reason not a single main week, besides Tamungus of course, uses the Skeld, and I find that to be a huge missed opportunity. That's about it for these two songs. I just think they're both amazing in their own right, yet work together extremely well. Number 1, Stargazer. This song is so special to me. Before I get into why I adore it so much, let's be a little more objective first. My main issue with Stargazer from base V5 was the chart. It was sloppy, spammy, and overall just not fun to play, and while I still think it's not as good as it could be, it is leagues better, again in part to the switch to Psych Engine. Besides the charting, everything else I've said previously still stands. The visuals are really pleasing to the eye, there isn't really any interesting camera shifts or events that happen, and, well, that's all that there really is to say about this song. Now then, are you guys excited to hear me ramble about the song for at least a minute straight? No? Well, too bad! So, in V4 Ranked, I talked about how Funkin might honestly be my favorite FNF composer of all time, and while that's definitely not really true anymore, this song was made at Funkin's peak. One thing about his songs that is consistent is Boyfriend sounding just so perfect. I don't know how this man does it, but he makes Boyfriend sound amazing in all of his songs. And yet Boyfriend isn't even my favorite sounding person. Jads, man. Jads. They warped his vocals into something different, and yet it still doesn't sound just like the bass red vocals. And the nice vocals paired together with, in all honesty, one of my favorite FNF instrumentals of all time, and yeah, of course, this song is a banger. There are tons of ways to describe how I feel while listening to this song. Probably something along the lines of floating or drifting through space is a good way. All the segments from the opener to the strong Boyfriend melody, and then to a slightly intense section? That isn't something I'd expect from a song like this, but man do I love it. Especially since the chart is a dream to play here. Then it calms back down into older melodies until wrapping up with the starting melody, which, by the way, is one of my favorite things an FNF song can do. Just, all in all, one of my favorite FNF songs of all time, being better than almost all of V4. I should probably wrap this up, because I have a few other people to prank today. No, because you're both not very trustworthy and also a digital entity. Not the same way and you know it. Anyways, let's just get the ending messages out of the way. So, I know most of you are wondering, since this did end up being an April Fool's joke, when is Mario's Madness Ranked actually coming out? Well, I'd like to say very soon. I can't give a confirmed release date yet until I'm almost done with editing because you and I both know I'm terrible about sticking to release dates. I would say to expect it about the end of this month, but I really don't know. I do have a couple other videos planned in the meantime though, so you've got a fair amount to look forward to this month. Last thing before the real outro, if you haven't already, go check out this mod. Despite it being just an April Fool's joke, it's honestly really well made, with quite a few actually good songs in it. But with that all being said, if you enjoyed what you saw today and you are new here, why not subscribe? Completely free and it really helps me out. Make sure to do all the other things like commenting and turning on notifications, and don't forget to check out some of my other videos as well. If you enjoyed this one, then there's tons more ranking videos, as well as a couple other styles of video, so there's bound to be something you enjoy. Make sure to go follow me on my Twitter. It may be a dying platform, but I occasionally post art and teasers that y'all don't get over here. But with all that being said, I'd like to thank you all for watching this video, and I wish you all a lovely rest of your day. Bye!